A championship that will set itself up after an opening round where there is a lot that can be found from many a different driver to say this season is mine for the taking. Johan Neshev was the one to take full honours then for the general standings as they set themselves up at Suzuka just 2 weeks ago. But knowing that Raichunov and Vitanov are there to make progress, that Gabriel Ivanov and Chris Vrajilov are trying to do what is necessary, this could be a strong day of saying who's got what. In GT3 Pro-Am, Ture Mollerin proved that he had near pro pace to go and say, look, I am all about this championship, but it's Yulian Janovsky and Ivan Marinov who are making the charges. Joris Ooms will also be put into Pro-Am for racing action. The Rally 3 standings as it is. In Am, Jack Tolchard from the back to the front will say good opportunities are there for those who can keep it clean. Stanimir Borisov and Lubomir Plamanov then nearest in challengers. And then GT4 who are out there in qualifying at the moment. Martin Yankov beating out Dylan Stebler and Florentine Hassemer, but there are days to be had by those who could not get results like Daniel Struchka and Norbert Hey, who will be both looking to try and jump up the order. We head ourselves, though, on the outskirts of Lake Seneca in the United States, one of the Great Lakes out there, because it is Watkins Glen for this second round of the championship. My name's Jake Sperry as we bring you all of the coverage here of your SIMGEAR GT Masters for round number 2. So qualifying currently going for those in GT4. They have a number of laps to work with and only the 10 minutes to set themselves out and say, hey, look, this is what I am capable of finding out there. So that is going to be where everything sits down and says, right, here's where the scene all looks. Qualifying currently underway, and the focus then on Stebler, and there is Kevin Aby working through with the 106 machine, looking to start that first run of qualifying laps out here. It is the full layout here that they will be running through, so they will deal with the chicane, they will deal with the boot layout to deal with, so down at the bottom of the hill and then back up it. So that is going to be where they are going to be sitting, but as they focus on with it, they know that every corner will matter with the short amount of qualifying that they have available. Tiptoeing over the rights and lefts then of that chicane with a brand new update graphically to this circuit then with the new rainbow color NASCAR curbs, and then back down the hill into that toe of the boot. We focus over to Norbert Hey, that VGTR Esports powered by Hymo Porsche that looks to try and set itself up as one to keep in mind. Over the top of this, Hunor Horshi is another one to keep in mind. That, of course, is where you are going to start thinking, right, can I jump up and say after a poor round one where it looked all but in the back pocket of the Hungarians out there, will I have a chance to show my points total to be relative by the time the end of the season works itself into play? Flicking through that chicane there and the tree line that has now formed around this circuit, Alex Stefanov, then another driver who will be looking to jump up and say, right, this is going to be one where I am going to be on top of proceedings. He was lightning fast in GT4, so we'll see whether he's someone who can do it today, working up the hill to turn 9. Dylan Stebler then, we're seeing the first times in, and he gets himself 300 short of Kevin Aby with the first attempt to 53.899, the fastest, but it is absolutely blitzed apart by Hunor Horshi for the second straight week, who goes on a 53.2, 4/10 of a second clear compared to anybody else. Alex Stefanov goes sick just behind Kamto Chukwure, then on a 53.9, so it's looking like a very close field. And in open qualifying, it sometimes does pay to go have a driver around with you, giving you a bit of a tow. Martin Yankov, second quickest then, on a 53.4 in the BMW, so proving that there is still going to be pace there from a car that works well, but it is that Aston Martin that has gone on top, that GT4 Aston Martin saying, hey, look, this is what I am all about there. So keep an eye on that as it continues on its progress. Chikure green, AB green, Stebler green in the second sector as well, and proving that there is work to be done today. A lot of good progress being done by the Mercedes out there, so that could be a case of how he looks to try and set himself up. Nietzsche is there down in 11th at currently 2.6 seconds off the pace here in qualifying, piloting a very BMW-esque BMW there. That is almost as factory as it comes. And then working up the hill towards turn number 9. Just behind him is Hunor Horshi, who is trying to work a drive and then pulls over to the left-hand side to allow the quicker car to go and finish the lap. Little worry there on the apex as Horshi is purple through the next 2 sectors there of 2 and 3. So coming to that 5th and final sector, it could be Horshi who is about to absolutely light the timing sheets up and go to the 52s, crosses the line. Oh, and then some. 52.75. That is 0.6 clear of Martin Yankov. Yankov only with a purple first sector to his name, and says, wow, that is the difference maker out there at this point. Struchka up to 3rd. So, with that in mind, Struchka trying to improve. Yankov then goes to a 53 flat. Those laps will get quicker and quicker as they go by. And so they'll be looking to sit down and say, what can they do? Heyi then, Norbert Heyi goes up to 4th. So it's Hungarians 1, 3, and 4 out there. 53.8 from Norbert Heyi. But with AB and Stebler looking to try and prove what they've got, this is going to be a walkabout for those who think, right, can I go and unlock this circuit? Because this is a track that when you sit down and you look at it on paper, you think it's easy, it's just an out to in, but there's so much elevation change here at Watkins Glen. It surprises you how high up the hill you are at the highest point in the circuit, turn 4, that how when you go down the hill around through the toe of the boot, there are some very heavy braking zones, and then you will be sitting back and saying, right, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to say that I can jump up on my level. I can now start jumping up through the gears. I can take the corners a bit wider. I can pivot through what is needed, and then I can go and get the result that is necessary. So now we work then with Simon Nietzsche, who works then for the line in the 116, and so he's trying to do what he wants. The lime green machine out there just behind is also looking for pace too, and so you'll be looking around and seeing the likes of Ivanov trying to work through. Radlen Ivanov, that would have been in the 118, and so these third laps getting a little bit more troublesome. 8 minutes into 10 minutes, they'll have about 2 minutes left before they allow Pro-Ams and AMs out there to go and race, but for the moment, Hunor Horshi is going to be a really strong driver out there. So we'll see whether Hunor is going to hold his station here with just a minute and a half left in qualifying. There is the Moser Racing car, the 108, trying to get closer. Dimitar Dimitrov. So, there are drives still to be had in the late stages of this qualifying, but it looks like at the moment it's looking for a very close middle of this pack. At the front, it looks like it's Hunor Horshi's all day long and twice on Sunday, but Martin Yankov will have to be the one who decides against that. Daniel Struchka is also hoping he can go there. Stebler going quicker in 3 of the 4 sectors. Kevin Aby up in 2 sectors too, so it's going to be that really strong position to say, look, I can do this. I can find those tenths of a second. If the car in front of me that's on pole can, I can too. And I think the balance of performance isn't making too much of a difference out there when you consider the other Aston Martin is 10th of all in Malinov. Horsey unable to improve, but you're seeing the time started to fall. Yankov had it under control, but at 10 minutes, the final times are coming over the line, and out go the AMs and some of the Pro-Ams as well. So, it's just going to be a day of holding yourself, and Hunor Horsey, I think, has got the job done, because the last couple of cars that are trying to work their way over towards the line are not going to be in the most amazing place to make it happen. We still focus with Stebler, with Aby, with Chikure, and Hunor Horsey, I think, is going to be there, because you've got likes of Valentin Stamenkov out there who'll be on an outlap and trying to hunt him down, so that'll be scary in the final stages. But Aby and Stebler now, down in the lowest part of the section of circuit, knowing that this needs to be a charge back up the hill and saying, look, I want this and I want this more than anything else. This is where he is going to go and make it happen. So that I'm going to be starting to look at here. Aby and Stebler are holding themselves steady. Chikure is going to be hoping he's got it, but Aby's time's falling away. Stebler looks like the only one who can maybe improve. Needs a couple hundredths to jump past Camto Chikure, heading towards this line, but at least right now, there is hope. There is so much hope. So much hope to go get this done, and now he's trying to think of what he can do. Aby's coming to the pitch. Stebler then with his final attempt is going to be the last cut at any time, crossing with a 53.5, and that's good enough for the second row. Dylan Stebler then will move up to fourth with that effort. You'll take that and you'll say absolutely perfect. Now it's the time of AMs and Pro-Ams out there at the moment to pick up what they can and say what they can do. There's a car spinning. Nikolai Mikov then in trouble out of the final corner. That will hamper a lot of laps. Robin Skelton, Nicholas Nikos then is going to be affected by that. So too Maxim Dimitrov, I think, and Ture Molarin then is going to be here. So that, I would say, is going to put them in such a difficult position now to get the best time they can. They know how quick the pace is going to be. It is going to be frenetically fast here from the AMs and the Pro-Ams, who are proving that they've got the pace of the pros. But GT3, add the power, add a tiny bit more downforce. They are going to be lightning across the run up through the S's and over towards turn 4 and 5. Down the hill, in towards that toe of the boot coming along. They enter the chute, which is this fast left-hander out of the exit. You get the drive now. You're looking for the toe of the boot. After that toe comes along the sole, this run up the hill over towards the heel. Now, you can be a little bit wider. The track limits around here are a lot less forgiving out there as he goes, so that, I'm sure, is going to be really strong. You've got also Arne Weiss, who is hoping to make a good start this season now and say, look, I can jump in. Another Belgian driver in to join Joris Ooms and Roy Vervaeke for effort, but Valentin Stamenkov will set the early pace on a 1:44.8. Blue is AM, white then is your, white will be your Pro-Am colours then, as Ture Molarin, half a second clear of Maxim Dimitrov, and saying, right, it's the Ford Mustang that is going to be out there to beat. The Porsches out there in their states. Maxim Dimitrov good. Joris Ooms out there, who's been promoted down to Pro-Am once again, is now there in that third position, saying, okay, pace wasn't there at Suzuka. I'll drop my category and move on forward. But Joris Ooms then in third. This is Roy Vervaeke, it looks like, coming to the line. Sarkazov up to fourth. Vervaeke can only go P6 with the first efforts. Half a second, though. Ture Molarin proving that the Swede has all the pace. Focus now on the Mustang working through. Car number 45 out there of Ture Mollerine, who is just a little bit there wide, going through at the heel of the boot, really trying to unlock the car through every corner. Takes a wide line through the off-camber turn number 10 and focuses with the Porsche in front of Plamen Dimitrov in the white and green, which is there in front. You've got Alexander Nikolov Sr. there as well. Arne Weiss also hoping for times to come in. Stamenkov quicker. Ivan Marinov goes quickest then on a 43.5 and really turns the gauntlet to Mollerine, who goes 8/10 quicker than his first lap and says, beat that, you thought you had me? No, the paddock car going a mile quicker than what is there already and proving its pro pace. Did a 42.6 in practice, but that 43 flat sends a message. Erms was quickest for a bit second, then it was Milan Milkov who goes ahead of that onto a 43.3. Valentin Stamenkov still in control of Pro-Am. He has to go back to Lazar Katsarski in 12th, and Hristo Sarkazov then will also jump up for position and say, look, I can gain a little bit more. I can find that time, and I can go and get there. Paniot Karpachev with a purple fourth sector out there is looking quick, and Karpachev to the line then will look to improve on effort and go quickest by 700ths of a second. Huge out there at that point. So Karpachev now proving that he's got the pace. He's always struggled as Paniot with making it all work. An off track for Viveka will hurt there, but there's the 37 and a slowdown for Roy Viveka then as it goes through. It's that 37 of Ivan Marinov, who had a 43.5, is looking to get even quicker then. Didn't have the best first sector, but second, third, and fourth sectors all good, all making that progress. Coming out then of that final corner, as close to the safer barrier as you like, and crossing 43.2, good enough then for P3 with 3 minutes to go in quali. There's the Aston Martin, the number 47 of Arne Weiss, who is hoping to get good progress. We go over to the Ford Mustang, then working its way through this section of circuit. It's Paniot Karpachev who has got the control, and that number 39 will be happy with the margin. So you would have to say that it's what can you do. Sarkazov with a purple first sector, Anamir Georgiev with a purple third sector out there. So we have hardly seen Georgiev's efforts out there in this one. He's been way down the order, and now you'll see the jumps up then from Moore. So you'll keep an eye on Sarkazov, who is now up to 6th, and the leader of Pro-Am, Georgiev, there goes to 8. So Anamir will be very happy and animated with that, knowing that Hristo Sarkazov, his teammate, is there in front, and they've proven that they've got pace in those BMWs that prove that that might be a car of choice. But it is Mustang 1, 2, 3, Mercedes 4th, and then BMWs 5th, 6th, and 8th, split by just Weiss there in the Aston Martin. So that is going to be where you next see that. So everybody's looking around. It's a 10th now as Karpachev moves into the 42s. Now Mollerine in the 43s. They're still on that 43.082. Everyone is turning around and saying, right, we'll lay down the gauntlet for the pros. They've got their own championships this year. They don't have to sing from the same hymn sheet, and they are trying to say what they can. Rosti Koshev as well, another who's trying to push. Mollerine to the line, goes down to 3rd. Arne Weiss now into 2nd. So Weiss now into 2nd. That's going to shake things up. Milkov up to 5th, and they are trying to push. Boromechkov goes 14th. There is Weiss. He's on the back of Milan Milchev, so he's getting a tow along the main section. Now he's going to have to try and make a pass on his lap. Roy Viveka green with 1 purple sector, so Viveka's finding something out there, and he's proving that he's got something he wants to go and get out there with times. This could go anywhere. Karpachev feels he's done now at the end of qualifying, heading himself down in. So can Pro and Pro-Am find the changes that are necessary? Can they go and unlock that final position that is needed? Sarkazov won't improve as leader of the AM category out there at the moment. So you're saying if they can't find what they need, if they can't go and gain a bit more, if 10 minutes is too long for the tyres to get up to main pace, then it's going to be there. But it still looks like there's improvements. Marinov looks good through 2 sectors and heading towards a third. He's only a 10th and a half off at the moment of the best time available. So will it be Ivan Marinov who can steal it? Checkered flag out for Pro-Am and Am as the last times come in. Milkov 5th, but will Ivan Marinov have something to say at the end? 42.817, he does! Ivan Marinov, leader of Pro-Am out there, proving there is something. Ture Molarin can't do anything for it. And now you're seeing Koshev and Maxim Dimitrov goes up to 6th then with that purple final sector. In fact, he'll go up to 3rd with that time. Absolutely brilliant out there. So that's going to be huge. Koshev goes up to 2nd. So Rusty with a huge job done then as Kotsev gets exactly what is there. So I know that Rusty Koshev's proving it. This is not going to be as plain sailing as you had it. Boromechkov will go to 11th as we focus with the number 20 car now trying to hold that station over towards the end of the run. Oh my, we are there, or the car in 20 position, the 33 of Ivo Serafimov then. So, oh my, are we seeing the differences as they head themselves over? Yordanin Svetinov then jumps up the order and says, look, this is where I am. This is what I'm proving I'm capable of. But Serafimov, done with the lap time, will only stay 20th, but it is Ivo Marinov and Animir Georgiev who make the differences out there. Up the hill then, the pros now have to prove, and now they know that when they make those attempts, this is going to be where they want that championship to set. We know how critical it was for Johan Neshev. Neshev has already got racing underneath his belt today. He was running around then at Road America earlier on today with the Sim Racing Republic GT Open. So he will not be fresh, so to speak, jumping in. He would have had to change car or change track pretty quickly to get himself into play as he was racing for Pro-Am Honors out there in that championship. So he knows he's got a lot to deal with. Christian Novev, Chris Vrajilov, they're all going to be hunting around, but remember that the big challengers are Ventsislav Raichanov, Venti, who is there in 2nd position. He's tied with Velin Vitanov, who, remember, was lightning fast over Racing Action, picked up bonus points to tie on points 13 back of your overall championship leader. So the time's going to start coming in. Gabriel Ivanov looks like he'll be the first one over the line. We'll see what the 11 can do. 42.3. Oh, it's huge in terms of time. A full half a second faster than anybody else. Raichanov 2nd on that first attempt round to say that is going to be magnificent in attempt. So there is the difference maker. Johan Neshev going only 7th fastest with that first attempt on a 43 flat. But how big is the difference going to be by the time that they get themselves down to the end of this session? They will have till timer expires to make sure it works for the hour and 10 minutes of racing that is going to be on the horizon. So they now sit with that in mind as the likes of Velin Vitanov goes 3rd at the moment, saying there is going to be more yet. There is still going to be chances. Raichanov then best in the first sector, trying to improve. Purple with that and trying to hope. You've also got Łukasz Shipowa, who is hoping that today is going to be his day out there and he can jump on up, because Shipowa is down in 24th. Vrajalov, 26th, 1.8 seconds down at the moment. So you are really getting a sense of, right, that's where they are, that's where their pace is for that first run, but they'll only get quicker as the tyres work on in. It takes about 3 to 4 laps to make it happen. It's a long lap as well here, 5.55 kilometers, and Raichanov is absolutely gunning it at the moment. He's proving he's got all the pace. He's proving he's got all the time. He's proving that he wants to be the main challenger out there, and as he crosses, he proves a 41.5 is over half a second faster yet than anybody else out there. Neshev is finding great time though in the number 5. 2 purple sectors to his name, and he crosses the line with a 41.9 of his own, which is 0.4 of a second back, but is still going to be in the wheelhouse for what is needed. So there is still going to be more to be had out there at this moment. There is that change. Raichanov is hoping that there is progress and improvement out there at this point, that there is going to be a world in which that can be found once again. So keep the focus in, keep the heart in mind. 4 minutes to go in this qualifying, and Velin Vitanov we're on board with is 4th currently, Novev 5th, but still needs a full 6.5 tenths of a second. Right, it all sits down on this final precipice of 3.5 minutes just under left to go. Raichanov 0.3 clear of the Mustang of Neshev, and those who are trying to go and make it happen are proving what they've got. Neshev proving that it's needed. So you would say that Raichanov is happy, but Neshev needs more. He's got a purple 4th sector again. Velin Vitanov looking really good though on this lap and trying to find the time that works, as well as Leon Kiermaier making his first start of the season. So, how will they find it? Vitanov 2.25 tenths, or pretty much a quarter of a second down now, but a great improvement up to second. So still needing laps. Gabriel Ivanov is purple in the second sector. So the number 11 Aston Martin is absolutely flying at the moment, is proving that it's going to be good. Now they are going to start saying, right, I am there, I am on it, I am the one who is going to sit back and say, you look out for what I've got capable here. Not great though in that 3rd sector, working hard over the curb with 2 minutes to go. Up the hill and now over at turn 9, and so that is going to be critical for this moment. And so, right, where can this go? Where can it work? And where can I find that all-important final attempt out there with 1 lap to go after this one? Raichanov still happy and comfortable, but focus out on that 11 crossing the line. 41.7, good enough for front row honours for Gabriel Ivanov. It's getting a little bit closer for comfort now, with Vrajalov needing to jump up and find pace. Shipowa then has crossed the line and won't get much of improvement. Stays 6th. Johan Neshev closer, but still a 1/10.5 needed. So, differences being made. Drivers hoping that they've got final chances available, that they are going to sit, that they are going to stay, that they are going to be the ones who go, right, I've got what's needed, but it is a very close rank that they have out there at the front. And so that is going to be a very, very big challenge out there for them, knowing that they've got just 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Sipowa's not necessarily there in that Mustang, finding everything. A green second sector. Fragilov improving. Neshev is improving on his laps. Raichunov will have no more to speak of. Timer is about to expire, and so the progress is going to be where you now start saying, I'm the one. I'm the one who's got an extra 10th in the pocket, 2 tenths. Neshev again is there, making it work. The number 3 we focus on at the moment, who hasn't necessarily put it all together yet, Chris Vrajilov, who's there, got yellow sectors going forward, not getting it together. Neshev, yellow in sector 4, and is that lap going to just fall apart at the wrong moment then? For him, Vrajilov then will come to the line. Is this going to be enough to jump from 20th? He desperately needs it. It won't count for him as he crosses. Sipowa's not going to get anything. Vitanov's going to hope. Neshev! Pole! 16 thousandths of a second. He steals one off of Venti Raichunov. Oh, at the final level. He needed that one. He needed that one big, and he went and got it. Kiermaier moves up to 6th position. The last cars like Christian Novev crosses the line on a 42.6, and it won't work. Oh my! Johan Neshev at the 11th hour snipes pole position away. It is simply magnificent what has been done. It is a wonderful qualifying out there that sets itself up, and the scene is ready for racing action now at Watkins Glen. And so that is going to be a case of working and saying, I can go and make this happen. I can go and find the level that says it's on top. But Johan Neshev got it done. Vrajilov not over the line in time to get another attempt. He is going to be mired down the pack today to try and get anything back. He pulls it over to one side. Qualifying done and dusted here. So they are going to be on an absolute tear for this one to go through. So we will keep an eye out on how an hour and 5 is going to react here in this race. But I would say that as it sets itself up, as it holds itself steady, I would keep very close eyes on where this championship sets itself. So I would look around and go, right, my chance, my opportunity, my moment. It's going to be Johan Neshev on that pole position then on a 141.583. Alongside for company, then on that front row will be Ventislav Raichunov then with a 41.599. Gabriel Ivanov and Velin Vitanov are 3rd and 4th, with Christian Novev, Leon Kiermaier, and Lukasz Sipowa, who will make the top 7 then. So they are going to be in a really strong position to make their race their own. And so that is going to be a tough order for many as they try and go through. Ivan Marinov, best of the Pro-Ams in 8th, with Rosti Koshev and Paniot Karpachev, 9th and 10th. 11th will be Maxim Dimitrov and Arnie Weiss, then in 12th, as we'll go over the page to 13th. That will belong to Ture Molarin and Yordanin Svetanov, then in 14th. It will then follow with Anamir Georgiev and Milen Milkov, 15th and 16th. And they are going to be out there and trying to prove what they can as they go and say, right, my turn, my time, my opportunity. You then look, Yoris Ohms there in 18th behind Vladimir Mavodiev. Hristo Sarkazov and Chris Vrajilov make your 20. Vrajilov way down. Georgiev, the leader of the AM category, with Roy Viveka and Ivan Boromechkov then in the 11th row. Stanimir Borisov and Nikolai Mikov have row 12 out there, as Milan Milchev and Lazar Katsarski will be 25th and 26th. You then got Valentin Stemenkov and Ivo Serafimov with Alexander Nikolov and Plamen Dimitrov. Then in the next couple of places, then they will be 27th and 28th there, as Alexander Nikolov is 19th senior, with Plamen Dimitrov in 30th. Roman Skelton and Lyubimir Velkov then on row 16, with Ivilo Dimitrov and Stanislav Naidanov in 34th. Nicholas Nikos and Ivilo Boychev then make up the 18th row of the grid, and we go then only then to GT4s, where Huno Horshi has control over Martin Yankov. Daniel Struchka is 39th ahead of Dylan Stebler. Norbert Heyi and Kevin Abe then have the third row ahead of Kamto Chukwure and Alex Stefanov. Radlin Ivanov and Orlin Malinov then will house 45th and 46th. And then the final row, Simon Nietzsche, Maxim Ivanov, then with last time being set by Dimitar Dimitrov, Alexander Nikolov and Krastin Stanchev make up the 51 that are here racing around Watkins Glen. It is a big field out there at this moment in time, and they are going to prove that over this hour and 5 that they have themselves set and ready for. They want this. They know how critical this race is going to be, and they know that in the early stages of the season, round 2 only, prove yourself. Show yourself that you've got the great chances that make many work out there overall. Prove that you've got all of the opportunities that say, I am the quickest. Say that over the course of this race, with the pit stop required, that you're going to pit at the right time, you're going to keep yourself out of trouble. These walls hurt and bite in every single scenario out there. Do not get caught out in a lap 1 incident here today and say, look, it's not going to work for me. If you want it to be the best that you possibly can, if you want it to be the one that makes it work, if you want this race to be that such an important day, then you have to prove you want it. You have to prove you need it. And so if you're in a day of proving out there overall, go out there and prove. Go out there and showcase what you're all about. You know, this championship is going to be for those who go out there and find a result time in and time out. If you don't find a finish, you're not going to be out there making this championship for the long haul of it. So as they work now through the toe of the boot, they will look to set themselves up. And the two categories finding themselves split then, Horshi and Yankov then together. This is a big day for Huno Horshi. He needs to get the points back. Right. It is going to be a big day out there for many as they work through the toe of the boot. This is going to be a tough day, a strong day, but those who need it know now is the time of asking. Final corner awaits, and the pace car will now dive off to the right-hand side. It will be the pace controlled by Johan Neshev, who stole the qualifying march. Green flag is in the air, and they all scramble off of this start to get themselves underway, all the way to the pit wall. Reichenov much better on the launch. He got it absolutely spot on as they head to the 90 turn 1, which used to be the final corner out there. They rub against each other. Now they'll go side by side up through the S's section to start this lap. Watching on Velin Vitanov and Gabriel Ivanov as they work through. Do not catch yourself then on the wall out of turn 3. It is such a difficult place. The GT4s now looking to set themselves up, but a huge accident up the top of the hill. Everyone's going to be caught up. 6, 7 different cars have been caught up and involved, and that's what we feared at the start, and there's going to be more issues for Velin Vitanov up at the top. GT4 about to set itself off with Huno Horshi and Martin Yankov, but it is pandemonium out there for so many drivers at the start of this race. It's a good launch by Huno Horshi. Yankov a little slow to get going. It was coordinated with Daniel Struchka, who gets around the outside, and then you look around at Dylan Stebler trying to get the run. Yankov in the middle of three widers. There is Norbert Hey trying to get its launch, but there's your leaders at the front doing what is necessary on this opening lap's worth of racing. But it is Neshev who has got his clearance at the front, and gaps forming. Car goes wide. That's, I believe, not Marinov, but Maxim Dimitrov, who just pushes a little slightly wide. Georgiev with the black and orange mechanical flag saying damage is too bad. A lot of gain is up 11 for Alexander Nikolov Sr., for example. He's made massive progress off this start. Mollerine now in control of Pro-Am as they go on through, and Maxim Dimitrov then still trying to fend off Ivan Marinov as Paniot Karpachev now tries to set himself up down the inside and make a meal of this into the 90. So can he go and make it fine gourmet, or is there going to be contact between them? There was a little extension there of the steering from Marinov. It brings Rosti Koshev into play. Vitanov then and Mavrodiev trying to work through. And remember that Velin Vitanov had that tap up at turn 5 through the S's that really hurt. Alexander Nikolov, black flag penalty, is going to be down in the pit, so his progress is going to drop like a stone. But there's the search again, trying to go and make this move happen, and it will not be a case of it happening immediately. They fall into line. Down the hill then towards the chute go your three, Neshev, Raichanov and Ivanov. At the moment, the number 11 of Gabriel Ivanov, who is running some very beautiful Verstappen.com Red Bull colours out there at the moment, is proving what he's got. Neshev back up the hill trying to defend, and you'll have to go up there at some point with Mollerine and Sipowa. Now they changed position for 6th place out there. Sarkazov, Vazeka, Boromechkov in the pits, Nikolai Mikov down in the pits as well. Neshev defended position well then against Ventislav Raichanov. The early stages of this race are proving their worth out there. Gabriel Ivanov is there. Oh, and they have to move for a GT4 that's damaged, and that is Dimitar Dimitrov trying to limp it back. The pit lane right now, I think, has got 15 cars in it, all in various forms of not great as it stands, as they've tried to hold themselves steady. But Raichanov now has his category exactly where he wants it. So does Mollerine, and it's Plamen Dimitrov who is the leader right now in GT3 AM as it currently stands, and he's only got 3/10 over Lazar Katsarski. So that's another battle to keep in mind. They're just about to change that for position. So I think Katsarski's about to steal that, as Raichanov now at a quarter of a second needs to have his run up the hill, and this might be a slipstream dependent race, so fuel saving going to be the main key of this one. And what a drive by Gabriel Ivanov off the exit of the bus stop to try and get himself through the carousel and working down the hill, sometimes known as the outer loop, to make it happen. And Ivan Marinov starting to drop down the order then. So Marinov's been caught out then, going wide at turn number 4. So it looks like he was side by side with Velin Vitanov. Vitanov got out of shape, and they tag against each other, and both had to scramble. Vitanov, it was when he was getting the power back on, actually, where it's pulled the troubles. Marinov's pulled it over to the side of the road. He's done with damage, and so he is going to be another driver who finds himself out of the race. Let's go to GT4 for a moment and see what's been going on there, because it's now the top 2 clear of Horshi and Struchka. Stebler's going to have to work hard with Yankov and AB to get back. There's the side-by-side as they battle then for the GT3 AM honours, as Lazar Katsarski sees Lyubomir Velkov now in control in that Porsche, gets the run done. And again, the yellow out there sporting absolutely beautifully there with that purple. A very unique livery designed by Lazar, who tries again around the outside. There's no clip on the front of the Porsche of Plamen Dimitrov, as Martin Yankov stays close, trying to get himself through on Stebler. But they're going to have to work together here, because Horshi and Struchka are trading places at the front. 1 second the gap. Good pickup then by Martin Yankov down the hill in towards the chute. He gets the run by the Mercedes GT4 of Dylan Stebler, who will now have to fall back into line with Radlin Ivanov and Alex Stefanov also trying to stay hum on the back of that group. Struchka now in control of GT4 with Huno Horshi just behind. Gabriel Ivanov staying in third, and every battle counting right now. Novev stuck fourth, scrapping it out with Leon Kiermaier for position. Kiermaier's first ever start in this championship in the Aston Martin, so he's already 70 points on the back foot, but trying to get the blue and green and Mark Speed to move on up and jump the place and trying to pick the pocket off of the exit and go, yeah, that's mine on Novev. Good drive by Leon Kiermaier. He wants that move on the inside, and if he can manage it heavy on the brakes, he's going to go and get it. And he just can't, because you can hold the outside track at the heel of the boot, and he will be sitting down and saying, yeah, that's mine. I can go and make it work. But Christian Novev now is trying to hold his station and say fourth is mine for the taking already. 4 seconds off the back. Back to Arne Weiss. They're running in the blue and green of Mark Speed there. The Mark Speed team then proving that the red, of course, of Joris Holmes and Roy Vervaker is their team. But Arne Weiss in Pro-Am colours trying to deal with Rosti Koshev then for what is fifth in that category right now. And they're going back through, or still holding, is that Mustang of Christian Novev, who is not going to yield, who is not going to relinquish out there, but knows how critical it is. Traffic now for the first time going to play a factor. Look at that damage on the front right there of Christian Novev. That's going to be hurting him in a straight line, and that's why he can't keep up the pace of the leaders. All three trying to run and jump their way through, and watch out at the front because it has just got busy. Oh, it's contact. Raichanov's gone into the back of Chukwure out there, so Ventislav Raichanov has fallen back to third. He has ploughed into the back of the Irishman out there, and so Chukwure, who now is going to be missing a little bit out there with that hit, is going to see the gaps come down. Raichanov will immediately attack Gabriel Ivanov down into the toe of the boot, but the Aston Martins are proving that they've got something today. Johan Neshev then got away with it as he was boxed in trying to get by, and we talk traffic. GT3 and GT4, they're all going to have to deal with it at some point over the course of this race. Do not make contact with them, or you're going to be in a world of hurt at 8 minutes in to the hour and 10 out there at this moment. They are going to be pretty much set down and trying to say, I can jump by who need to. Simon Nietzsche, the top three get clearance, and now positions mattering more than ever out there. We go to Ture Molorin in the number 45, and into the pits, Jordanin Svetanov with damage. So another driver caught out, Jordanin Svetanov, then finding the barriers out there on track, so pitting the car then from what was 21st position, and that is going to really suck in terms of his day out there. But they climb the hills. We focus with Leon Kiermaier trying to get the clearance. Oh my goodness me, that was nearly Łukasz Szipła then into the back of Simon Nietzsche. You can't afford too many of those, and the traffic is giving it all. There's no drive for Neshev. He got bottled up, and again, Raichanov seeing that, and Ivanov almost into the back of Radlin Ivanov trying to find a move. So Ivanov almost into Ivanov, and now Johan Neshev trying to dive down Dylan Stebler for a place then as they try and deal with the traffic. There's a slowdown for Stanchev out there in 31st place, but it is getting so busy, and they're going to have to work for it, and Gabriel Ivanov's going to box himself then on the exit. Raichanov with nowhere to go. Martin Yankov that was, who had to leave the room, who's been dropped by Horshi, who's been dropped by Struchka out there, and now as the leading trio go through, each to their own, have not dealt with the traffic best as they go through this section. Dive up the hill at this very tough turn 9, turn 10 even out there on track, and now looking over to turn 11 and 12, the final two corners. Clearance again for Johan Neshev, and they're not getting help here from the traffic. They're going to have to go either side. Where are you going to go? Gabriel Ivanov then. It was Raichanov who gets most hampered by Struchka, who was trying desperately to hold a line as they passed either side of him. But the gap now 1 second for Johan Neshev. That is what we call ideal in the circumstances. Martin Yankov then with Christian Novev and still trying to prove that there is going to be more to be done. Novev clear now as it looks like Ture Mollerin back now to 9/10 of a second. So dropping down, the order goes Kiermaier to 7th. Then in an instant that we haven't quite seen. So it's looking pretty dramatic out there. Hunor Horshi knows that they've got to get points first and foremost, and this is a tough day to get points. Working through then the outer loop on the 11th minute here of an hour and 10. Novev just tries to pick a pocket down the inside, just trying to get the drive off the exit, but it's all there for Ture Mollerin, who will hit the brakes on the inside and will go through and try to thread the gap through the middle behind that. Łukasz Sipała there, big flash of the lights. Not happy is Daniel Struczka, who felt that was way too risky for how early it was in the race, but they made it through, the important thing. But the GT4s feeling like they're not really being 100% respected out there on circuit, and they've got to be very careful about what they open up and what they offer out there in terms of this racing out there. Mollerin then through on Christian Novev and up to 4th. There is what lap 1 looks like. Anamir Georgiev caught up in the middle of all of it. It's huge. Look at it. They all just pile into this section, and it's notorious here at Watkins Glen. Lap 1 in any big field, avoid the checkup. There normally is one, and you can see Lazar Katsarski was able to jump through all of that then in the slank machine and get by. It looks like a Vilo Dimitrov was also in there and involved too, so it caught a whole heap. Roban Skelton, another one who ends up in the middle of this incident there at the back. They're sliding about on the opening lap of the race as spoilers go everywhere, bonnets go everywhere, and everybody just thinks, wow, that's really going to hurt. Ivo Serafimov then having his own trouble then in the early stages of the race as he looked to go through. I think that was with Roban Skelton actually, who had the damage, and bang, there's the hit into the side. The 33 slides around, tries to go and gather it back up. Very tough. That's what happened to Orlin Malinov then along the main straight, catching the 111 car out there, and that would have been Kamto Chukwure, and that's why Malinov went around for a bit of a spin. And there's Nikolov Senior. You can already see the damage there to the rear right, showing very aggressively. They're spinning around there in that number 91. The crabbing almost there for Roy Viveka, then in a number 32, trying to also deal with a car that looks second-hand at best, and gets turned around there. The suspension punched into one side, and Iwanin Svetinov's issue then in the number 40. We'll take a look at this. Going over the curb, you can see the sparks and just catches a bump wrong, and there that extra influx, and that's going to be straight into the wall. Bang! That is a hefty hit down into there, even though we see it at half speed in slow motion. Top 3 as you are. Ture Mollerin in 4th position, but Gabriel Ivanov has stayed with Johan Neshev and Venceslav Rajchanov. It will be a race of these 3 at the front of category as it goes, with Horshi and Struczka together on road. Chukwure having a big race out there with the likes of their Dylan Stebler, for example. So they're really trying to open up this and say, I am the one who can get it done. And I'm looking around and saying that the likes of Dylan Stebler and co have a huge gap, so this will be a little bit further back down the order here with Chukwure. They've got the likes of Alexander Nikolov there. You've got Ivo Serafimov trying to jump through. Nicholas Nikos. This is the middle of the group. This is rush hour that you find, and you'd find it in Sofia. You'd find it here right now at Watkins Glen as Alexander Nikolov jumps himself then in that 34th position. He knows that he's got to get by Junior next, and a rare scenario that will be coming up soon between them. Nicholas Nikos now trying to get some jumping done off of the exit and up through the S's section right now as the last car in that top 20 that sits at the moment, with Horshi effectively 21st, with so many drivers having to take the hit out there. It's worth reminding everyone in terms of what they deal with rules-wise here. There are no fast repairs. They're limited to 50% of the fuel tank and 25 incident points before penalty starts to kick in. So they know that around here, it's less likely to get 25 incident points. It's more likely to find a race ended, and 34 drivers out of the 51. So that's 17. That's a third of the field have had to hit pit lane here in this race. That is a very big number to start, but this is the circuit that says go bowling, and a lot of people end up splitting a spare rather than finding the strike that they want. Paniot Karpachev then. P8 looking for a way to jump up through. Leon Kiermaier is there at the moment in 7th, and so trying to work his way up through the order. They've got Milan Milkov to get by first and foremost, but Kiermaier here just seemingly with the legs here on Paniot Karpachev trying to make that happen. Serafimov close now, trying to work out whether there he can get by Plamen Dimitrov for position, who is persevering with the damage at the moment on the front, and he's done very well. He'll have a lot less turn on the front of the car. It will feel very sluggish there with that aerodynamics. It will feel like a brick wall is hitting it as it goes through this corner, and he will struggle definitely for straight line speed with the way it hits at the moment through the underside of it, through all of the works that are done there with the engine and the radiator exposed down there at the bottom. But Serafimov gets a good run, and so this will be where you can get it done over towards turn 4 and the loop. Can you be brave on the brakes? Can you take it away? Yes, you can. Easy does it. And there goes the pass. So Ivo Serafimov jumps. And then you've also got Ivilo Boychev trying to recover back at 4 laps down. Also trying to work through there, that McLaren. So there is focus. There is definitely a lot that can be done. And as far as they go, a change for the race lead. Gabriel Ivanov now through on Johan Neshev, and a pass that was done in the second half of the lap. It was done at the toe of the the heel of the boot to get the move done. So Gabriel Ivanov now wants to lead at the front of this field, knows how critical it is that they built that gap of 10 seconds to Mollerin and Sipawa then behind, and saying, right, these are the top 3, we're going to run away. And the camo and the white there of Johan Neshev, the championship leader, he is really wanting to go, but he just can't carry the same pace as the nimble Aston Martins, and the balance of performance showing that a bigger, bulkier car like the Ford Mustang is going to be a little bit down through the higher speed corners, that because you've got so much more weight to muscle about it, it takes a lot more energy to get it through the corners. Oh, here comes the lunge, contact, Neshev hard into the barriers, Raichanov has gone into the back of him. It's a slam dunk penalty if you'll ever see one. Johan Neshev's day is done. It's written. He is out here at Watkins Glen, and Venceslav Raichanov will be apologetic about it. But Gabriel Ivanov now has been given an almighty runaway here in this race. It's late. Down the inside. Johan Neshev's corner all day long. Ugh. And the amount of energy he takes from that bounce off the barriers, it's huge. A look from Raichanov's perspective. Never alongside was Venceslav Raichanov, and that will put a huge, huge hole in Johan Neshev's championship efforts. It puts Ture Mollerin, a Pro-Am, in 3rd place here with Łukasz Sipawa trying to find a way through. So can Łukasz find himself the move that gets it done, knowing that Christian Novev will want to try and hold patience but can't, with Kiermaier there as well. Everybody jumps up. Lyubomir Velkov, leader of AM GT3, trying to deal with Belen Vitanov then soon for positions 2. So there is Lyubomir Velkov trying to work through number 90 Porsche and say, look, I can be someone who can go and gain these places. But Belen Vitanov had a very tough day, started 4th out there overall with Ivan Marinov there, and there is Chikure with a bit of elbow out, trying to keep things all chipper in the battle right now with Simon Nietzsche and Krastin Stanchev, as there is Alexander Nikolov on the inside, who is trying to take that place away from Stanchev and has just managed that one then against the Mustang GT4, the more nimble McLaren, getting that job done. And then you got the BMW there And of course, Chikure, who is dealing with a very pushed in front on his AMG Mercedes GT4, which does look like it is wrong place, wrong time. Nikolov trying to hold himself steady in a race that he is now just trying to get anything he can from it. Good drive against Nietzsche. Nietzsche just lets him have it there through turn 2. No surprises on a move like that. Just give yourself the room and fight for it another day. And Nietzsche deciding that is the best course of action as they go. Radlin Ivanov under pressure now. Alex Stefanov still trying to work if there's a way to go through. Staying just on the rear of Kevin Aby here. So it is proving to be a little bit more of a tougher day at the office to go and make it happen. But they are still trying to do what they can. Horsey, by the way, is clear of Daniel Struchka and is clear by 1.3 seconds. So this has worked a treat for Hunor Horsey. And there is the liftoff. Alex Stefanov, he knows he's quicker, and I think it's a case there of also being known by Radlin Ivanov. You're quicker, I'll let you go. Joris Ooms now is going to be in this Pro-Am scrap, and he's going to be realizing here he wants Vladimir Mavrodiev for position, and Mavrodiev has got a good, decent run, but not enough of while. Oh, he's heavy over the curb there. Is the first of the BMWs compared to the second, and that's going to open up the exit straight down the inside of the outer loop, and Mavrodiev will lose out to Joris Ooms then for position on what has been a very, very tough start to racing action here at Watkins Glen with just the 32 car runners now left here in this one. Down the hill to the toe of the boot. Mavrodiev now back down into 12th. Kiermaier is going to be the next one who will be looking around at his placement because he's trying to jump up past Christian Novev and into a top 5 for Mark Speed. Will the German knows that the car is damaged in front and is picking up a place here, is picking up a place there, and it looks like Hunor Horsey with a slow down penalty there, the yellow flag out for him being overly aggressive. That should lean Struchka back in then by comparison. Gap comes down under a second and it still needs to be served. He's trying to tactically serve it. You can't take forever to do it or you'll get dinged with a penalty. Horsey, you're going to need that one to come down more and more and more. Finally, he gets it at the toe of the boot. We'll get the drive coming off for the exit of the corner, but now he's allowed again the Mustang of Struchka, his own teammate, then to jump up to the rear. There's the side-by-side Kiermaier trying to get it done through the S's and all over the place. Then goes Christian Novev, who's struggling to find something out there. It's difficult, but Kiermaier thinks he's got an answer. It might be down at the chute. They're getting the run down the inside. He's going to get into the side of him here. Maybe lean slightly. He's on the wrong side of the road to the toe of the boot here. But if you can get it through this long hairpin, it climbs back up the hill through the middle of the corner. So you're very easy to spin it to the inside. But the car won't work then for Kiermaier in the number 4. He didn't quite managed to unlock that, so he needs more then to get through what is a very stubborn lock that Christian Novev is proving to be, as they'll now have a couple of GT4s to get by. Nietzsche and Maxim Ivanov are those two, and so where do you go? Where's the gap? Move over, please, to go and get my clearance down the around the outside. It worked, but they've also got on the back Paniot Karpachev in that 7th place, who would love to try and bring himself into experience. As in comes 2. Stanchev then blocks Christian Novev down into pit lane. So there's the pits that's going to happen. Rosti Koshev also following at 24 minutes. I'm not shocked to see so many deciding to come in this early. Radlin Ivanov is in the pits with Stanchev and Maxim Ivanov. They have to pit as well because this is the earliest they can pit with any damage that they've got to get themselves to the end of this race. Sipua then will be another driver to keep focus on out there at this point because he's going to try and get that 3rd place here on Ture Mollery. And I just don't think he's in a place where he can manage it at the moment. He might need pit stop strategy to get by what is effectively his teammate, both running the paddock colours, the paddock.gg colours out there. It's the white livery there for one Mr. Ture Mollery. Łukasz Sipua there in the darker blue out there. Very lovely colours for him. A hive of activity on the pits as Kostev and Novev now look to leave the pits effectively together. They are as they leave the pit lane. So obviously a lot of damage repair needed by Novev. Koshev then didn't have too much to deal with. So he's going to be a little bit more okay with that in terms of a pit strategy as he tries to work himself back up through the order. The longer that this race has now got to go as GT4s jump in, Leader in, Yankov in, Stebler in, Aby in, Reichenov in, everybody in at the moment, and they're all making calls. So Horsey stays out with Alex Stefanov and Hayi. They can go a bit longer here in this one. 50% tank. Remember, it's a two-stopper that they'll have to deal with, and more than anywhere else, you will see that pit stops are going to matter. So Gabriel Ivanov making that call will go down to the third to last box, and they will look at their strategy as Arne Weiss is going to be the one who has been able to fuel save better than anyone out there and is going to take a lap lead at the front of this field. Coming up off of the jacks and looking to get the clearance then to go. Joris Ohms as well, another Mark Speed car that has been able to go longer with it. There goes Gabriel Ivanov, and off and away to inherit the net race lead once again, and clears Martin Yankov. Long stop by Venceslav Reichenov. The two teammates, Stebler and Aby. Aby's jumped Stebler in the stop, and they both jumped Struchka in that first stop as well in GT4. So big changes that are coming along, but that is going to be as difficult as it comes for it. Sipua comes out with Mollerine, but just a little bit further behind. There's Huno Horshi, your leader, and so he won't know that Struchka has had a bad stop by comparison. He may have taken more fuel out there than some of his rivals would have done. Little wiggle there for the 112, but trying to set up this race. Huno Horshi will now be trying to think about the next stages of this race, and you can see going underneath that yellow line, hugging the inside, which also forms the apex for that final corner, and into the pits goes the Aston Martin, looking to make that first of two race stops here today at Watkins Glen. Knowing how difficult this has been as a start to the season, you will also be keeping in mind that this is going to be a season 11 which has shown some amazing action out there. They don't have racing until the 14th, which will be coming to you from Sebring. So there is that to try and hold up on the horizon, that they will have a lot to try and uncork and uncover. Stebler then sees Kevin Aby in front, has to let Mollerine go by in the number 45. The lights flashing saying, come on, let me through, says Łukasz Sipua, because I'm trying to clear the cars that are in and around me. Weiss and Ohms hit pit lane, so that will give Gabriel Ivanov the race lead back once again, and it's a 7-second gap now at the front. Alex Stefanov is now effectively your leader, but in the pits, Martin Yankov now, I think, has come out with the lead here at this moment. So, yes, he has. So, he's cleared Huno Horshi through the stops by about 3 seconds as he comes out the pits. So, Yankov, with a shorter first stop, has got the run and will need to run now against the VGTR Esports driver then of Horshi and get that clearance needed. So, my oh my, it's going to be all down to who can do what. Kiermaier and Vitanov. Kiermaier down in the pits for a very long time here at this moment. He's going to fall miles down the order by the looks of it here. So I'm not sure what's happened to Leon Kiermaier out there on track, but to me, oh, he's had a spin. He's gone in the wall, turn 10. Leon Kiermaier's hit the wall at turn 10, and so his day might be written then as he's made that stop. So that's going to be awful for Leon Kiermaier in terms of where he was. He was running up as high as top 5, and so that goes away. Maxim Dimitrov through as well on Christian Novev, and so Sipua will be effectively all on his own, racing to try and pick up a P3 against Ture Mollerine, a day where it's the pros who have been the biggest hits out there, as well as the AMS. Katsarski, leader of the AMS, Velkov and Vitanov then trying to change for position, and it looks like Lyubomir Velkov has got the clearance on Velin Vitanov to try and chase down Lazar Katsarski, but Martin Yankov, reigning champ, clear at the moment, and there's the difference. You see the stops there, and Simon Nietzsche then effectively showcasing as jumping in and out. So Nietzsche having a lot of problems there with connection at the moment. There is Sipua. He is there. Oh! Has something happened to Venceslav? Something's happened to Venceslav Raichanov. He's down in pit lane with damage. And so what has happened here to Raichanov? Has he been dinged by a connection flag or something of that ilk? Final corner it is. Oh, he's just gone and slammed it into the wall. Oh, Venci. That is not what he wanted after what happened to Neshev. He's now going to turn himself around and say, yeah, my bad. Hits the wall, first the rear, then the front. Spins it around with damage, pulls it over to the pit, and suddenly Gabriel Ivanov is 16.5 seconds clear at the front of this field. Bang, bang, and there goes the race for Raichanov out there. Dramatic to say the very least. And Paniot Karpachev as well, having a moment out there on circuit. He goes, oh, this has just happened. He's had a slide and he's caught someone out there as well who was just behind him. I couldn't quite catch it. It might have been Arne Weiss or even Maxim Dimitrov he was trying to deal with. So that really, really stings in the way he was going about it. So suddenly, it's Ivanov who leads. Molarin second, Sipowa's third, and Novev is fourth. Maxim Dimitrov now into fifth, and Rosti Koshev P6. It is a powerful day for those who have worked it, and the Pro-Ams have proven they've got sitting pace. There is Maxim Dimitrov, who thinks, yeah, great day for me. I'm second in class and fifth overall. So for general standings, he's going to take a bucket of points. He'll flash at Alexander Nikolov Sr., say, right, come on, out the way, buddy. I need to get moving. Christian Novev also needing to move out there, and they can see a respective of incidents out there. 4x for Kiermaier, 1 for Raichanov, enough to pretty much mark his day. Molarin on a clean run with Arne Weiss and Vladimir Mavrodiev as well. Oh, and that's Karpachev's front looking a little bit second-hand out there behind the trees here at Watkins Glen. Couldn't quite get the right angle. I think the back's going to step out on him here going through turn 10. It's so easy to do because you're trying to stamp on the power as early as you can. Back steps around, lights up a ton of smoke, and then comes back across and into the barriers. Oh, just avoids it there with the rear spoiler, so did well then to avoid that getting any worse. There is Maxim Dimitrov in that fifth place. Happy with his mark at the moment, but you'd say that it's about giving yourself a ticket to the end in races like these. If you don't do that, you're going to be hurting even more than when the points don't go the way that you want it to. Ivo Serafimov, for example, looking for places, and so too Arne Weiss, trying to get to the rear of Rosti Koshev. This is 6th and 7th out there overall at the moment. So Serafimov here has got a really good run. Is going to be going at this one for 12th against Lyubomir Velkov. Velkov 3 seconds back of the AM leader Lazar Katsarski then, and saying, right, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to still get some really good points out of today. But Serafimov sees that it's too aggressive into the corner by Velkov. He has to get way out of it then, and will cost himself about 2 seconds as Velin Vitanov will jump on the range. Karpachev down into the pits. So everyone jumps up another position as they try and work their way through. Gap down in the GT4 field as we focus to Alex Stefanov, who is right in the thick of things at the moment. Kiermaier is making his way back through after making his stop for damage to go by. A big slide there going through the middle. Got to be careful about that. Gets the clearance. Mavrodiev is the other one who's also trying to jump through it. So Stebler, Stefanov, and AB all there. AB has fallen behind these two as Alexander Nikolov Senior is now in the pit. So that is an alternate strategy that's in play. But Kiermaier trying to get anything out of this race. Mavrodiev, of course, is a lap ahead on the road in P9. So the difference there, Velkov still continuing to think about where this move is going to be needed here. Trying to eye up Serafimov back. Weiss is now going to try and cut underneath. It's not there. It's covered at the chute then to get that sorted. And I'm sure Vice will be there like, oh, shoot, didn't get it done. But now, can he go at the toe of the boot and say, mine, as he goes by? He'll need to get a lap or maybe even a few laps now to get himself back up to some various pace. And so they're going to be hoping that, yeah, while it's not gone the way that many have needed, I would turn around and say that while you need to get the drive back off of these corners, you now need to set up and say, look, it's going to take a couple laps to make some of these moves. Why don't we just try and prioritise the finish first and foremost? I think that's where Kevin Avey has sat very nicely in this race with his teammate, his Swiss teammate there of Dylan Stebler. And so the pair of them have done a really good job as Alex Stefanov splits those two in the SD Sim Racing Porsche right now and says, I'm quite happy with fourth, but I know that this is a race on for, I'm happy with fifth. I know that fourth might be the best I can manage out there at this point. Martin Yankov has been caught by Hunor Horshi at this stage, and Horshi isn't a million miles away right now from trying to re-inherit that race lead. But if there's any hope with that shorter pit stop from Martin Yankov, he's going to have to hope that Hunor Horshi just gets a little too aggressive, trying to find a way through, trying to jump up the place to move on up into that leading position once more. 3 seconds hunted down. Velkov still hoping, by the way, that there is a move on for that place, and it will be with Velin Vitanov just in front, who's gone through. Johan Neshev is back out there and racing, but many a lap down is going to go by the pair of them here. Cuts his way through one, will now look to dive down the inside of Velkov for the other, as Velin Vitanov now is going to get a monstrous attempt here up through the S's as they try and play the game with all the various cars and the various paces and the various levels of damage that are available on each and every one at this stage. So as they're focusing, can I get drive? Can I get commitment? And it's covered off then by Velkov, trying to work by Alexander Nikolov Sr. with Neshev and then Nikolov Jr. and then Mikov and then Ivilo Dimitrov. All there, all trying to work themselves away through to the outside of the GT4, to the inside. Oh, that wasn't the best move in the world by Lyubomir Velkov. It opens up Velin Vitanov to the inside, but the long road hard travel might still pay off in dividends, and there goes an attempt. So now inside line down at the toe of the boot as we're nearing towards those second run of stops. It is going to be well sorted out then by them, and it's now closing up between teammates second and third. Who will take rank between Pro-Am and Am, second and third? Sipua then with Mollerine in front, who is proving more and more that the pace is permanent then if he can hold his own teammate in a category behind him up at this stage. So Łukasz Sipua is doing what's needed, but Martin Yankov and Hunor Horshi, this one for the lead. They have to let the 32 go by. That's Roy Viveka for Mark Speed. But now as they take the rise, how much drive can I get through this section? A black flag for Sarkazov. So Hristo Sarkazov then has hit the limit and will need to come down for pit lane. They will go into the inner loop and look for the drive coming out of this section. And so now Horshi just carries a tiny bit more speed there in that Aston Martin, looking for just enough turning radius to get it sorted down through the chute. Again, just not close enough. Good drive is there once again, and now it's going to be a case of, can I work the outside line? Pick up a pocket on the inside now for the heel of the boot. Stanimir Borisov really helping out the help for Hunor Horshi, who tries to work through side by side for second, up through the S's, then they go. That will be Sipua trying to go to the inside as we got two battles side by side for two very important positions out there. Sipua to second. Horshi couldn't quite get his move done. Sipua's gone too deep. slowdown penalty will come through as well, and Mollerine now will have breathing space here with half an hour to go in this one. This is getting really chipper. Ivo Serafimov continuing to remain close as well in his hopes to get by Lazar Katsarski, who is the AM leader in GT3 as it currently stands. But I would turn and look back up to the GT4s, which they're going to be on in about the next lap or so. Are only down the end of the straight, and Hunor Horshi still stays then with your leader, Martin Yankov, who's got to do everything he can think of to make this work, because he knows that if he goes by, there's no strategy that can save him. Big kick of the tail from Alex Stefanov through the opening section. He will look around at Dylan Stebler just in front going, yeah, I'm not quite getting the run I want, as there is the battle there alongside as Serafimov will get a chance to attack Lazar Katsarski, and they're going to go either side. They're going to go either side. Where do you want to go? It's going to be Katsarski having to hit the brakes. They're leaving the room, so it forces the pass by Serafimov. Stefanov lost sight. They thought that he was clear on the left-hand side. He wasn't, and so that forced Katsarski to hit the brakes, and Serafimov comfortably gets the pass. And so now as they work through, Lazar's not going to be best pleased with that from Alex Stefanov, but he stays in range then of Ivo Serafimov in front. They will deal with Dylan Stebler down in towards the toe of the boot, but that could have been all she wrote with that sort of incident. So critical was the pass that kept themselves in with just under half an hour's worth of racing in the SIMGEAR GT Masters. Velin Vitanov then in 13th is also a driver who still keeps himself under pressure because he needs to work with Lyubomir Velkov. 11.5 then to Lazar Katsarski, and that half a second that he's got to Ivo Serafimov. That's the next group. There is Nicholas Nikos, who's effectively 4th in category right now, driving a wonderfully clean race and hoping to get up by the ever-damaged Plamen Dimitrov, who has just been slowly ceding a place here and there. There's not much he can do. In front of him is Valentin Stemenkov, who is way down, 5 laps down, lets them both go through. Teammates there, Nikos and Stemenkov, for the purposes of this championship, but just breaks the gap a little bit. And we talk about this being a circuit where you need a 1.5 seconds to get the feel of slipstream out there, and drivers are now starting to think, well, final stages, endgame now on this, hoping that with Sebring 2 weeks down the road that they're not going to run into troubles. There's Radlin Ivanov then, who will just try and allow these two to figure out their own race here. There goes 1, there goes 2 through both parts of the S's. Now to turn 4, highest section of the circuit. Stebler with a slowdown penalty then is going to hurt, as there's side by side. Horshi trying to get through. I think Stebler's going to lose out now to Alex Stefanov if he can't get it cleared in time. They're going to be side by side through the corner, and so Horshi down at the toe of the boot, just going to get what's needed, and Stebler, oh dear, just having a blink, is going to stay ahead out there at the moment. Side by side it will be. Look at this, 3 wide as the likes of Lazar Katsarski tries to follow Johan Neshev through. Wide goes one Mr. Martin Yankov, a freebie for Hunor Horshi, who was waiting for the mistake, just left the door slightly wide. Easy stuff in the end, and the Hungarian retakes control of the GT4 category, knowing that there is not that long left in this race. They've got one more pit stop to try and uncork as they go, and they are in a truly magnificent run out there at this point. Nikolai Mikov is proving that he wants to jump up as well, but it is Kevin Abey who is now in the seat to try and make a pass. He will now try and eye up Alex Stefanov to go and gain another position, as we do have cars in. Roy Viveka making his last stop then of the race, it looks like, as Maxim Ivanov then in the Team Maxim car, 31st then, runs himself. See Boromechkov trying to work by through to get himself then on the right side of the GT4s. There is the negative delta by iPredictor car in 30th place. Arnie Weiss, well, he's kept this one quiet, then trying to stay with Rosti Koshev. He's got back to the rear. He'll playing over to that inside line, getting wide in the mirrors, never going to go and get the move sorted, but here comes Drive. You got turn 2, 3, and 4 up the hill to go and make this happen in what is a very nice part of New York State out there at the moment on the shores of Lake Seneca. As now Vice trying to think about it again, doesn't quite get the run Aston Martin to Porsche, but it's a slightly missed apex in then by Koshev. He's going to be very narrow coming out. Big wide line by Arne Weiss. He's really looking for a big run off of the exit here of the outer loop. That will set him down now for the shoot. And if you can lock this as it's half defended to the inside by Koshev, he'll have another chance to try and get him up and under. He's just looking for exit after exit after exit, and now thinks to the inside. Okay, there goes the exit strategy, but he's proving he's there. He's proving that Rusty Koshev cannot sit and rest on any corner at any given point of all of these races. This is going to be a tough run. In comes Martin Yankov then from second position. He's had enough, and he will come in to make his final stop. And he knows he's probably going to have to cede a bit of time here with the fact that he's underfueled that car for that stint. So, with Martin Yankov in, he'll be followed by Łukasz Szypuła, making his final stop from third position, trying to get the undercut on Ture Mollerin, for example, out there. Yankov done with his stop will leave. Weiss still needing help around the traffic here, working away through there and finding the clearance necessary. That was on Norbert Heyi, there, the Hungarian, and now Weiss is looking out there and saying, well, Miami would be nice, but at the moment I'll have to settle upstate in New York to try and get my P6. Koshev still holding himself steady, is still giving him everything he wants, and he's proving that this is going to be a very tough day. Plamen Dimitrov, Nicholas Nikos and Plamen Dimitrov also in a scrap, but Koshev has it scouted again, going into the inner loop, the bus stop, and then all the way around the long carousel to get it sorted. There is Nicholas Nikos, the mile car, trying to open it up. Plamen Dimitrov then sets himself in line. He knows he hasn't got much to go with at this stage, but again, the traffic of Daniel Struchka is going to pretty much put an end to that effort. They've got Ture Mollerin as well, trying to get by the pair of them, a lap ahead on the road. So it is a very tough day to try and navigate through. The gap's huge with the various incidents that's there, and the gap's opening up as Nikos can't quite hold the same level of pace. Mollerin to the outside is going to get the clearance needed, and Nicholas Nikos, instead of diving for that final stop, which I would have done in that situation, now is going to have to stay with what's needed. Boromechkov getting another car. That's Chikure. He's gone by, so that's another one for him to jump up and through. He's got one Ferrari behind him out there today, so it's proving to be a tough day for many at the office who end up getting caught up in the wrong places. Drivers like Chris Rajulov, for example, couldn't have afforded it. Neither could Raichanov, Svetinov in trouble. Neshev going to struggle for a couple of points out there here today. This is going to be a nightmarish scenario for many who will see the championships already take a sizable dent with the way things have happened at Watkins Glen. Through into sixth now is Arne Weiss, because we've had one car come in. Struchka with a slowdown penalty is going to have to serve it, so that's going to put him even further back off of Hunal Horshi. But Koshev really attacking the curbs, using the natural lateral loads. There was the Mark Speed car of... Oh, big off in front, and that is Robin Skelton with Kevin Abey. Then in GT4, Abey was running the inside line, 2 into 1, didn't go, and Kevin Abey now will have to try and limp the second half of this race home. He looks like his car's okay, but it really drops him, Abey, now off the back of Alex Stefanov by 8 seconds here. Weiss stays close, but again, the traffic is there and proving it. Alex Stefanov, then the clearance, and again, it just opens and extends that gap out to half a second to try and bring that gap back down once more. 22 seconds. The lead at the front for Gabriel Ivanov over Ture Mollerin. Into the pits comes Nicholas Nikos, then, as Simon Nietzsche is also in the pit lane too. So they're both making decisions for their final stops as we tick towards 20 minutes to go here in this race at Watkins Glen. Clearance then in the stop, out and away once more, and trying to make the final stages of this race set and work for who needs what. They know that there's still pit stops to be had, and Alex Stefanov gets a good run up the hill compared to Dylan Stebler, who had to let those two cars go. Fended all the way to the inside, back to the outside, covers back off the move to take the natural racing line. Stebler pretty much resolute to it. I think you got to move a bit later if you're Alex Stefanov. If you want that position, if you know that you can get that position, it's as tough can be in these stages. Joris Ooms is there too. And so I would look at Alex Stefanov as someone who is really going to be the last great point who tries to make it happen. Stebler is pretty much set on where can I be and trying to use the likes of Joris Ooms for that move. Wasn't going to work around the outside, trying to pick up the run up the hill off of the exit here. Is it going to be enough? No. Has to try and pitch. Can I steal a bit of draft? Yes, I can jump in. Now I can pick up a little more. Do I want to? 2 takes it takes to get to that outside for the heel of the boot. You can sense the anxiety then in Dylan Stebler. You can sense the desperation of Alex Stefanov trying to go and get that pass. He's not getting everything that he wants here. And behind Milan Milkov having to really get out of it then as they figure, where is what I want out there? What can I find in a moment like this? Vice still continuing to stay close and resolute, working with Hunor Horshi, then the overall leader at GT4 just in front. And every time Arne Weiss can get within a tenth, he just doesn't have enough driving at Aston Martin. It's very good in the corners, but it is proving to be a tough opportunity to go and get by. And you are seeing it time and again. Arne Weiss does not have the straight line speed to give Rusty Koshev a fair fight here. He can get close. He can get super close as Maxim Ivanov gets a penalty in pit lane and is going to have to come and deal with that. I think it will be an unsafe pit exit that does the job there for it. But as it goes, Weiss still looking, and again, they'll go to the outside now of the traffic then. This is going to be the GT4 of Krastin Stanchev that they run by, in and out, and look at that, having to try and pick up underneath of that GT4 Mustang. Gap flies out. Once again, Stanislav Naidenov. This would be full position here on Martin Yankov, another driver who's recovering through this field. He gets the clearance. Ivo Serafimov and Lazar Katsarski in the lane. Katsarski just leaving his box now, with Ivo Serafimov for company as well, now trying to put, in fact, Katsarski's hit his box, Serafimov in, and now Christian Novev, then from third, net fourth, in as well as Koshev now, making that stop. Finally, Arne Weiss has the ability to use his pace as pit lane becomes once again a hive of activity in the late stages of this run. Struchka hits the lane from second overall. I'm interested to see where Struchka comes out in comparison to Martin Yankov. Then with 15 minutes almost to go in this race. There's Simon Nietzsche trying to deal in a battle here with Maxim Ivanov, who's got to come back in for a pit stop. Dylan Stebler in. Kevin Abe into the pits. Martin Yankov, by comparison here, is just working his way through turn 11 as Koshev leaves the pit. I'm keeping my eye on Struchka. It says he's on pit exit, and Daniel Struchka now. It's going to be close. It's going to be mightily close between these drivers here. Martin Yankov looking for this. It's going to be, I think, Struchka just with the jump. But remember, you got to get up to speed. The difference a couple seconds. There he is for VGTR. I put Yankov third in this race. Your leader, Gabriel Ivanov, will come in and make his stop then with 15 minutes to go. But critically, Daniel Struchka has got the clearance needed and will be very happy with the way this race has gone. There is Gabriel Ivanov in the pits. He's followed in by Ture Mollerin, who is making his call out there. Weaving by is Chris Radulov, trying to get any points back out there again. And off the jacks comes and away Gabriel Ivanov, not even in his box. It's Ture Mollerin. Such is the gap. But where is Łukasz Szypowa? By comparison to Mollerin, he's only making his way now through turn 11. This is the race for second between two teammates at paddock.gg, and they will be feeling this is a dreamland. Mollerin is on pit exit, it says, at the moment, and he's about to get onto the binders here with Lyubomir Velkov in front. It's not going to be close. Ture Mollerin's got the gap, and he's got Paniot Karpachev, who has had incident just there with him, and it will be about 6 or 7 cars and about 4 seconds. The difference for Szypowa to chase. There is Maxim Dimitrov. He'll come out in 6th. It'll be close between him and Christian Novev, actually. There he goes. Just seen him go. Hunor Horshi then is going to get back onto the power. He should re-inherit the lead of this one, as that's Alex Stefanov, I think, trying to find his box by comparison to Horshi, who is now just going to leave and give himself this race. Struchka is only just making his way on the main straight now, so he's re-inherited the lead. Alex Stefanov is going to look around at Dylan Stebler and see whether the position's there. Stanimir Borisov also down into the pits. He's had a good day today as Stanimir, but Ture Mollerin waiting for just 2 Belgians to pit in front of Arne Weiss and Joris Ooms, and if both of them have come in and made their stop, then he'll get exactly what is needed. Gabriel Ivanov, your race leader, 9.3 over those, and it will be about 25, 26 seconds by the time that they both jump in and they both make their pit stop. Gabriel Ivanov knows how good he is. There is, oh, Stanimir, no front clip. That is interesting for him, and I'm sure he won't be best pleased at the fact that he's not got that for the end of this race. Stanimir Borisov, who's been running so well here in this one, now missing the front, and that is even with his pit stop that he's taken. So clearly that's come from the early stages. Katsarski, your leader in Pro-Am. He is clear of Lyubomir Velkov. You can see pit deltas of their last pit stops. You've got Kiermaier also down in the lane. That'll be for his final go about of it. And so with 13 minutes, what is there left to be decided here in this one as they all get their various stops sorted? There is Boromechkov, who's fought his way back to 18th place. He'll be very happy that he will get some good points for it after getting caught in the lap 1 incident, then up through the S's. That put him way back on in terms of cashing in his paycheck here today. But it's about those who can rather than those who can't. Karpachev, this to steal a march on Chikure, and this should be easy. He's got Boychev as well in front, so that's the bigger battle out there. If you can deal with Boychev, the pro, who has been at the back all day long, nothing you can do about it. He has just been on a struggle streak for this the entire way around. So, Stebler, he's actually come out behind Alex Stefanov here, and so this is where Alex Stefanov has to construct the final part of this race and do so brilliantly. So, Stebler knows today, as Weiss and Ooms hit the pits, that he wants that position of 4th if he is to keep his work in the championship going. He can also see that there are those who want to try and take those points away, and Alex Stefanov is definitely one of them. Weiss hits his mark, so too does Joris Ooms, and Arne Weiss, remember, was up there racing with Rosti Kosher. Oh, Paniot, big hit. And we've seen it a lot with Karpachev over the last seasons. He's a very quick driver, but he needs to try and put it all together. And that time it doesn't work. So Paniot Karpachev, a massive hit. Look at it. He almost rolled the thing going through. That Mustang is not built to be on 2 wheels. It is very much a 4-to-the-floor style of car. And that was very nearly a day over. And it was, in fact, a day over for Paniot Karpachev there. So, 11 minutes then and ticking down. Boromechkov with that final stop will leave and will effectively cycle the field out as Weiss has got the clearance by about 4 seconds on Rosti Koshev, and that overcut pays its worth off. Stebler now can't see, but through where are you gonna go? A slew of cars trying to stay out of the way there. Stebler in a whole heap out there trying to avoid, with Vitanov, with Brajilov, Borisov, Stefanov, Ivanov, and Ivanov, your leader, just about getting the clearance. In comes Velin Vitanov then. This will be his last stop of the race. Looks like a bit of a walk in the park at the moment. You don't often see gaps like this at the front. Kevin Abey, though, still focusing on and saying, tough day at the office. Stebler, clear. Vitanov still trying to take that stop. As we take a little look behind the grandstands for a moment, the camera just putting away the wrong side for us. But there goes Velin. 14th will fall out behind Lyubomir Velkov and Lazar Katsarski. It has been a great day for them out there at the moment, and they have proven that their worth is very much to be allowed. There is Robin Skelton sliding. Oh, catches the curb wrong. Has to catch it once, twice, and then the car fully snaps around and bang into the wall. It's a huge hit, and there's not much you can do. Velin Vitanov then in 14th position is trying to hold himself steady. Dylan Stebler now seeing what can be done late as Alexander Nikolov Sr. moves by for position. Robin Skelton is also going to try and get by soon. He's only a second back, and that is Stanislav Naidanov also down in the pits, and so he'll be getting his clearance. He's 5th in category at the moment and not much to deal with. Stefanov then with the clearance on Kevin Abey, on Dylan Stebler, is going to be very pleased with his work out there, knowing that all these places count. He's technically plus 20 as he blinks away, and he blinks away for a very long time. And oh, please don't tell me it happens this late in a race when he's put over an hour's worth of effort in. Alex, I'm sorry. There's such things sometimes as a commentator's curse. It's with you, mate. And Alex Stefanov looks like he is out of this race, and it will promote Kevin Abey, and it will promote the likes then of Hagee out there, Norbert Hagee, for those places. But Huno Horshi will now have to just knock on wood heading towards the end of this race. He is 8.5 seconds clear. He blinks his lights for the 108 to say, I am not going to worry about all of that this late on, as every place is going to matter. Naidanov through then on Martin Yankov. And we'll look to get through the next one. And Avilo Boychev then scrapping hard with those around. We'll see Kevin Abey. He's just gone through. So the GT4's moving. The gaps a little bit more protruded and extended now. A couple of 2 seconds here, 2 seconds there. Battles Weiss trying to chase Maxim Dimitrov down by example. And Arnie Weiss half a second quicker on that last lap. Koshev 4/10 quicker than that as well. So he could have a 3-car scrap all the way at the end of this race for 5th, 6th and 7th, which would be podium honours in GT3 Pro-Am, mind you. So, still that in the final 7 minutes worth of racing, and who can hold what? Stebler still happy with the work that he's doing. He'll know Boychev will have to go through. Oh, he gets a little bit of a moment there, having to deal with those around, as he will see the likes then of I believe that was Milan Milkov and Valentin Stamenkov going by. He's got the gap of Ilo Boychev into the pits then. For what will be the final time on a quick splash and dash for him. Arnie Weiss, the gap down to 1.7 seconds for a top 5 out there at the moment. So I love to go to Weiss and the work he's trying to put in, that he's slowly trying to cut the gap down, knowing that he's got Rosti Koshev at 2.5 seconds behind him at this moment in time, knowing as well that there is only 3 drivers from Pro in the top 10 out there, or even in the top 14. Velin Vitanov's going to get 4th in honours on a 14th place finish on it, but you can't turn away the work that Ture Mollerin has done. Kept his nose clean, kept the pace up, 26 seconds off of the race lead, and in second. It's simply a dreamland scenario for a Pro-Am to be on an all-out podium, and it might get the bells ringing on whether a pro promotion might be needed for Ture Mollerin. There behind is Lazar Katsarski, the Am, 1 lap down by comparison to the leading Pro-Am. Really having a day of days too, of just consistency. Gabriel Ivanov, your leader, with just under 5 minutes to go. That should be about 3 laps of racing left. The way they dance through the S's there of Ivanov, huge. Huno Horshi now sees Naidenov in front. Flashes the lights to say, not quite happy with the way that you went through on me. But he knows that preservation's key after what happened at Suzuka. Here's a chance for Nikos against Plamen Dimitrov. He's been trying this for the last 20 minutes. The 87 against the 86. And it's just not coming off the way that he'd want to. Again, there's an attempt to drive off the exit of the final corner. But you can throw it at the 90, turn 1, down the inside. That's the attempt. Stays narrow through the corner, but obviously you can just list into the corner as Plamen has done. And hasn't really had anything of note to worry about with that. That was a comfortable dealing with out there at that point. So clearance necessary here as Nicholas Nikos will try and get the move. We'll take a look. This doesn't look great here for the 108. Oh, with Roman Skelton, was it there? Or even there? Oh, that's horrible. That's a horrible incident. A day to end for car 108. What can you say more about that? That's just hurts for Dimitar Dimitrov. Just tries to turn in. There's a second car there. Bang! You're always going to come off second best as a GT4 against a GT3, and those Michelin tyres will know it. There goes the first one through of the 7, and just didn't know he was there. Round you go for a very, very hefty hit at that section. Those aren't co-barriers. They do not budge here in iRacing, and that is a statement as they go. There is Skelton dealing with this. Boychev, I believe that is behind, directly for position. So this is for 25th and 26th. And Arnie Weiss, we were talking about this late, 9/10 of a second is the gap between Weiss and Dimitrov here. So keep an eye out for P5, because that could change in the final lap of this race when that comes about soon. So Skelton and Boychev side by side. Boychev running the long way around. He'll use all of the runoff then on the exit. He's not going to quite get the chance, but then if you go and say, look, there's more. Here I go, here I try up through the S's section. You might be able to get... Oh, no! It ends for both of them in a horrible, horrible heat on the exit of turn 4. Roman Skelton, that's why too wide is tough. The hit will pretty much end any hopes of anything meaningful for the pair of them. There's Kevin Aby. Well, here's the look. Oh, it is Skelton who loses out. Boychev takes the tap. And it's a hefty, hefty hit at the end of the day. Here's another look. Yeah, unsighted to it, as Weiss is now eyeing up a move for position on Maxime Dimitrov for 5th. That's the hit into the barriers. And Roman Skelton just losing it. The car getting loose as they go by. We've got to go up to 31 and 47. There is Arnie Weiss, who now sits knowing that there is not long left in this race, if anything at all. Gabriel Ivanov has crossed the line, knows that this is the final lap of this race with about 15 seconds of overlay to go over the top. Arnie Weiss has one chance and one chance only to get this top 5 away from Maxim Dimitrov. Will he get it done at the 90? Turn number 1, dives down the inside and takes it away. But remember, Maxim's going to get the run up the hill here. Through 2, through 3, through 4. We'll keep a focus on where Gabriel Ivanov is. By comparison, he's heading his way along the sole of the boot, but heading over towards the top. Maxime to the outside. Porsche versus Aston Martin. We know the Porsche's quicker in a straight line. Arnie Weiss is going to have to shepherd him to the outside here. Battle of brakes. Arnie's better on the brakes. In Arnie's place is going to be his, and he's through on what he needs. Gabriel Ivanov now just 2 corners away here in this race where he will have a landslide. Johan Neshev and Venceslav Raichunov both out of contention here today. Checker flag out for a waltz to the line. Gabriel Ivanov dominant here at Watkins Glen. A long wait for your Pro-Am winner out there of Ture Mollerin, who knows that today it will be second place as well, and a huge haul of points to get over the likes of his main rivals out there. It is simply put the best result he could possibly ask for. Ture Mollerin to the line will take second for Paddock.gg and wins Pro-Am. Sipua will be the driver in third who comes through. We know as well Hunor Horshi is next to the line with Christian Novev, and as well we wait for Lazar Katsarski to come to the line too, because Lazar has had a wonderful day. He's just crossed, and he is your AM champion, AM winner today in GT3. Maxim Dimitrov couldn't do enough against Arnie Weiss heading through. Hunor Horshi dominates then in GT4 as the rest of your drivers now work their way over the line. So the likes of Nicholas Nikos in the end would get his man Plamen Dimitrov, and so 15th it will be heading over the line there with that. So as we wait for the likes of Roban Skelton, Kevin Abe, Nick Hayey then as well, Norbert Hayey to come over towards the line, we will be seeing that the last few drivers will get themselves a finish, including Johan Neshev down in 39th position. Ouch. No other way to describe it. Ouch. It's that sort of day. Ouch. So, confirmation then as they work through. Gabriel Ivanov has got the job done and wins this race in 1 hour, 10 minutes and 9 seconds. His margin half a minute over the line over Ture Mollerin, with Łukasz Sipua finishing as the last car on the podium overall. Christian Novev would be 4th, ahead of Arnie Weiss and Maxim Dimitrov. It will then be Rosti Koshev in 7th, Joris Ohms 8th, and Vladimir Mavrodiev rounds out the top 10 along with Stanimir Borisov. In 11th, it would be Ivo Serafimov ahead of the winner of GT3 AM, Lazar Katsarski, with Lyubimir Velkov, Velen Vitanov, Nicholas Nikos, and Plamen Dimitrov, your top 16. Leon Kiermaier on debut, 17th for him out there, as 18th would then belong over to the likes of Ivan Boremechkov. Stanislav Naidanov as well, 3 laps down for him and Alexander Nikolov, as it would be Hunor Horshi taking GT4 with a VGTR 1-2, Daniel Struchka, then in 22nd, Martin Yankov and Dylan Stebler then follow that one out. Avilo Boychev then down the order with Roban Skelton, Kevin Abe, Norbert Hayey there 28th, with Radlin Ivanov and Kamto Chakure having a very adventurous day. Then Alexander Nikolov Jr. and Krastin Stanchev 5 laps down, with Avilo Dimitrov and Maxim Ivanov there for Team Maxim 34th. Roy Viveka would find a tough day at the office, getting caught in lap 1. A lot of these drivers did. Nikolai Mikov, Ivan Marinov, another one in trouble. Valentin Stamenkov, the big names there. Johan Neshev in the barriers and out. Sarkazov in trouble. Milkov and Milchev then have their trouble. So too Alex Stefanov, Yornin Svetanov, Simon Nietzsche in troubles as well with Dimitar Dimitrov, Paniot Karpachev, and the big one of them all, of course, Venceslav Raichunov. The final 3, Chris Radulov, Anamir Georgiev, and Orlin Malinov have all the troubles. So, a tough day of racing for many, and lots, hoping they were going to get what they needed. We are going to jump in here with your SIMGEAR GT Masters press conference. And first and foremost, I don't have the ability to drag drivers. So as far as it goes, I don't know who I'm going to chat to, but I'd love to chat to Ture Mollerin first and foremost here in this one, because what a sensation. That is the story of the day, I think, of all of this here coming out of Watkins Glen. It will be all about who was able to just jump to say, look, I was capable of getting all the results that were needed. So some wonderful results then that will come through for many, and they will look around and think, right, where am I going to be best set as they go through? We'll start actually with those who are moving through. Ture Mollerin here with me right now, the winner of Pro-Am today. The pace has been really strong through the first 2 rounds of the championship. But today, 13th to 2nd, surely that is the result that you were looking for in the 45.
I'm honestly very impressed with my overall pace for this race. I went into this weekend thinking I would not be anywhere close to this pace. So it is amazing, actually.
So talk us through that amazement and what Watkins Glen means as a circuit, because it's one of those tracks where you either have a day where everyone sits in the slipstream and you've got a pack style race, or you have what you had today where everyone had an incident left and right and you're just left to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, no, I was afraid of new chicane. I think a lot of people seem to be. I assumed I'd crash out. Spent an hour yesterday just trying to figure it out, doing chicane after chicane. And today it actually worked for me.
It works for you. In 2 weeks' time, it is Sebring, which is just as, if not more, bumpy out there than here at Watkins Glen. So for you, Ture, the 2 questions I ask, how does Sebring fare for you as a circuit? And are you worried with the pace you're showing right now that you might get a cheeky promotion to pro?
Yeah, Sebring is one of those circuits where I've usually done quite well. Watkins being another one. Suzuka maybe being the third. So we'll see. And I don't feel like I have the pace. Today was one of them. I just picked up the pieces. Everyone in front made mistakes. We'll see what the champion or the people say about that, though.
Ture Mollerin with a 2nd place overall, a win in Pro-Am. Your winner overall is here with us now, Gabriel Ivanov. Gabriel, Christmas is a month away, but it looked like you picked it up on the first Sunday of Advent, because you sat down, you had 2 very quick drivers in Venceslav Rajchinov and Johan Neshev in front of you, and both of them take each other out the race.
Well, it was an interesting one, to be honest. I thought that I practiced a lot for the official races, and I did pretty good in them. But I didn't expect to be to fuck up the quali so much. I expected to be first. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be light, I'm not gonna risk anything. If I'm close to anyone, I'll just do a move that's unexpected, and it worked. So yeah.
Apologies for any language there, ladies and gentlemen. But Gabriel, obviously the margin certainly helps you out there. Half a minute at the end of today, and it looked like all the pros, found themselves with struggles with just 3 inside of the top 13. So in terms of pro category points, it's not going to be massive amounts, but in terms of the overall general standings, it's going to be a case of everyone else needs a life raft to get back to you.
What am I first now in the standings?
You'll certainly be right up there if you're looking around and seeing that pretty much everyone who was doing well in race 1 aren't there. I'm pretty sure you'll be first.
Okay, that's good, I guess. So yeah, I liked this track a lot. I used to struggle like last year, but this year, when with the new chicane also, I like so much the new chicane. If you see on the videos, I just use it all and my front lifts up. So yeah, that's where I gained most of my pace. You know, like what was the word? Compared to Yuan and Vancy. So yeah, I think that was my strong point in this race, the chicane.
Well, that certainly helps for you. Very quickly, how do things look for you heading to Sebring? Do you think Sebring's going to bring just as much joy?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love this track. I love bumpy tracks. I'm gonna practice a lot there for sure. So yeah, I can't wait, to be honest.
Gabriel Ivanov, then your winner overall, then here today from Watkins Glen. Third overall would be Łukasz Szipła, who joins us now. Łukasz, you're beaten by your pro-am teammate, which is one thing, which shows the pace he has. But when everyone else is running into troubles, for you, what looked like, okay, I can maybe manage 6th, 7th by the way that qualifying went, certainly turned into a day full of promise. Just talk us through how it went from your perspective.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, got you loud and clear.
Very surprised to be in P3. Also managed to do a lot of mistake today. I think I could be closer to Tourette today if I haven't done mistake in the chicane. But yeah, I was not expecting to be P3, especially seeing the pace of the top guys.
In terms of what you're looking at for this race, it's a wonderful day for Paddock as a team because you'll absolutely vault up the team standings with a 2-3 result out there overall. But what are you looking at in terms of the goal for you? Because you will now vault yourself up the standings, especially in pro.
Yeah. I'm very happy to do that, but still need to do a lot to keep up with the guys in front. I think I'm not gonna be fighting for the championship, but if I'm, I don't know, close to P3, I will be super happy.
Where do you think the advantage is then heading to Sebring? Do you think it's something in setup that you maybe missed a tick on, or do you think that they're just able to chuck it in the car or chuck it around the corners a bit quicker?
Nah, overall, I think Watkins is not my best track. I tend to do small mistake around here. I think Sebring I've done a lot of more, and I will have a little bit more pace in there. But yeah, let's see. I'm super happy for today, what happened, and just will keep the same approach for next one.
Yeah, well, we'll wish you for the best in 2 weeks. Łukasz Szipła then getting 3rd overall on today's running. We will jump over to 2nd in Pro-Am, where Arnie Weiss is here with us. Arnie, you had to chase that down late. You both had to try and find a way by Rosti Koshev in the mid part of that race, but then to get the legs on Maxim Dimitrov on the final lap.
Yeah, it was quite an exciting race. The fuel strategy worked out quite well to get in P3, and then on the last lap, it was just pushing until the limit.
There was a lot of chaos out there. A lot of drivers found troubles, especially behind you. And I know a couple of your teammates got caught up in that then on the opening lap. So in terms of getting races started here at Watkins Glen, were you happy to be sort of in the front 6 rows and away from all the chaos behind you?
Yeah, I was happy that I was just away of the pileup. I was the last car getting through, so that helped me through the rest of the race.
And so when Sebring's on the mind and you're seeing yourself in the Pro-Am Championship getting a strong run then here today, I know that you sort of jumped in new this season, seeing that the work that Joris and Roy had done over last season. How much confidence is there with the 4 of you at Mark Speed to sort of settle yourself down and say, right, we've got a good working core for this championship in 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, we'll need some practice for Sebring, but we have still 2 weeks to get up to pace. Now it's first get some time off. We've done a 24-hour race this weekend and went straight in to this race. So let's take a couple of days off and then go straight into Sebring.
Agreed. Go sleep. Do anything. Just rest, Arnie, rest. Arnie Weiss. Arnie Weiss there joining us then and getting a second place finish overall in the GT3 Pro-Am standings. Third would be Maxim Dimitrov. Maxim, he got you at the end and there's not much you can say about that. It was a really nice, consistent performance today from you.
Yeah, I started to feel pressure at the end of the race, last lap. I'm at a good position and just North take the best of me, lost focus and lost the pace and then the place.
So, giving yourself that platform, how did it manage there for you? Because it looked like every time you're trying to go and get there, the gaps open up quite quickly. You had to focus about how you're working, especially on a two-stop like this championship is. It's not as simple as just you can fuel save your way out of the problem. So, talk us through the race strategy.
Honestly, I was focusing more on consistency and not getting into the incidents. I don't have such pace as Ture and Arne. So yeah, this was the main strategy for me.
And so strategy applies again when you head to Sebring in 2 weeks, yeah?
Yeah, I like Sebring quite a lot, but by the sounds of it, everyone else is too, and everyone else probably is good at this track too. So we'll see in 2 weeks.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck in 2 weeks. Maxim Dimitrov then, third overall in category. We'll go over to the GT3 AM category, and your winner for that, Lazar Katsarski, here with us. Lazar, it's been a season last year where it looked like the building blocks were there, but you couldn't quite put it all together. But here today, through all the troubles that everyone in and around and behind you did, you were just about to keep out of the turn one issues, and then that just gave you the platform to go and race.
Yeah, I've been practicing recently, so I got lucky as well in this race. Unfortunately, I wish I had points in the last, but it's okay. Still a lot of races to the end, so...
I think you make your own luck sometimes in terms of racing action, but you certainly kept honest through that race with Lyubomir Velkov behind you, trying to make the chase. So in terms of the late stages, was it a case of you couldn't let up your concentration because he was so close behind?
I also had a little bit of damage on the car. I didn't want to fix it because I don't want to waste time in the box. So that might have been some of that, but yeah, just try to stay out of accidents, basically.
And you certainly did that very well. And we note that no Jack Tolchard here today. So for you, it's a chance to really jump up and take command of the division. How do you feel that sort of gives you a platform now heading to Sebring?
I hope that I will, but I'm feeling positive right now, but time will show.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck for that. Lazar Katsarski, your winner in GT3 AM. We will jump over to the GT4 division, where your winner outright, having a very good love life, so to speak, then with his Aston Martin, Huno Horshi, here with us. Huno, that is pretty much as dominant as it needed to be, especially after what happened a couple weeks ago over at Suzuka.
Yeah, thank you for the amazing commentary. I want to start off like that because I think it's very professional. And as for Suzuka, it obviously was a very unfortunate incident. Everyone knows that if you just barely are on the curb on the outside of 130 yard, it puts you in the barrier, and sadly that happened to me. I could have avoided that by not doing as wide of a line as I was, but sadly, in the times I practiced that corner, neither of the times have I put in the wall. So yeah, unfortunate, but it's a great recovery in terms of the championship points today.
Big points, big opportunities to jump up through the order, and the middle of the race looked like it was pretty set for you. 3.5 seconds to chase Martin Yankov. You catch him, you pass him, and then you're given a huge gap to your own teammate by the end of the race. You couldn't have asked for much better.
Yeah, definitely couldn't have asked for more. We were on a different strategy. We elected to change tires because during the practice we've seen that the tire degradation was very hard to manage. So we thought that by changing tires, we could complete a better race, and it obviously worked. When I was behind Martin Yankov, I did not want to overtake. I didn't want to force the overtake. I knew that I would get ahead of him one way or another due to my better tires. So yeah, traffic helped me out there.
Well, it's even bumpier when we head to Sebring in 2 weeks. So do you believe that Deg's going to be the important talking point of GT4 next time out?
It might be. It might be. It definitely doesn't have the fast and long sweepers that Watkins Glen has, but it is bumpy, and it will definitely depend on what the temperature of the track will be. So we'll see. We'll see if the Deg will be anything to worry about.
Hunohoshi there joining us then as your winner in GT4. Second behind him would be his teammate Daniel Struchka, who is here with us now. Daniel, 1-2 for the team is always really good to see, but talk us through the choice of car first and foremost, because it's not often that you see two teammates choose a different car. Of course, Aston Martin for you, the Ford Mustang. What makes the differences in choice for you and your teammate?
Hello everyone, thanks. I chose the Mustang because I really like the platform overall. The GT3 is cool, the GT4 is also cool, and this is the new car, so I thought it was gonna be powerful from the starting of the new season. I bought it, and then that was, and the other car of mine was the Mercedes, but I don't really have the speed of that car, so I chose the Mustang. Honestly, I didn't think the Aston Martin could be as powerful as Unor puts it in P1 always, but as you can see, it is, so yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of busyness and action which is needed out there on track 2, because you found yourself pretty much dealing with a lot. We saw you flash your lights somewhere in the middle of that race as you had a very sketchy moment with one of the GT3s threading the needle between you and your teammate. So traffic-wise, did you feel like it was a lot busier than usual, or did you feel like it was slightly easier because of the fact that about 17 cars found themselves piled up then at turn 4 on the opening lap of the race?
Yes, definitely. We talked about this at Suzuka as well, that the traffic here, the GT3 traffic is hectic here, to say the least. I mean, you not only have to focus on your strategies, but as a slower class, you also have to be careful with the traffic and always watch the mirrors. And here in Watkins Glen, I didn't think it would be this chaotic, but like the GT3s just dove down the inside all the time, and yeah, I didn't I didn't like most of it. Yeah.
Do you think it gets easier at Sebring, where it's more of a known quantity and it seems like it's everyone's favorite track?
Well, I love Sebring also, so I think it will be fine. I don't think it will be worse than here, because I don't know, this was, yeah, as I said, it was hectic, but like, yeah, it will be fun, that's for sure.
Daniel Struchka there joining us second overall, and then to third position in GT4 with your reigning champion Martin Yankov. Martin, you tried something, you thought you could get the run on them, but in the end, you know, their pace prevailed and they were able to hunt you back.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think I was going to be this close to them. Since from the beginning, they had mega pace, and I was hoping to have better fights with the rest of the field, but they were nowhere near. So it was a really boring race for me, actually.
A boring race. What do you do in a boring race like that? Was it just a case of just managing yourself through the traffic, counting the thread count on the dash? What do you do to pass the time?
Yeah, the traffic was awful, but I managed to survive. I had 2 or 3 close calls, but at the end it was okay for me.
You got 2 weeks. It will be a week 13 build when the next round is going to come along. Are you hoping for any changes in the GT4 BOP to help you out?
No, I hope that the rest of the field is closer, and we have a fun race. And I won there last season, but I don't think this will be the case now.
Well, we hope that it's going to be similar fortunes for you. Martin Yankov, third overall then in GT4, and that will do things here for the SIMGEAR GT Masters press conference as we will bring proceedings over to a close. Here today from Watkins Glen. A day on one of Lake Seneca is going to be one where everyone hoped that today would be the best it possibly could be. It was one where drama befell in every single stage of the matter. It was one where everyone will look at the championship and say, how on earth does it look like this heading over to Sebring in 2 weeks' time? But the days are simple for those who could keep it clean and keep it out of trouble from myself, Jake Sperry, the entire team here over at simgear.bg. It's the days to be had for Hunor Horshi. It was brilliant for Lazar Katsarski. You could say that it was Gabriel Ivanov's by a country mile of over half a minute, but the day belongs to the driver who finished second overall. When does a Pro-Am ever get to finish second in a race as good as this? The answer's today. Chapeau to Ray Mollerine.